Are you an MC, battle rapper, hip-hop enthusiast, or singer-songwriter looking to enhance your skills? If the answer is yes, then definitely check out Pendulum Ink Academy. Pendulum Ink develops a direct path to enhancing an MC skill set and understanding of the hip-hop business by providing access to classes conducted by industry experts in the areas of rap theory, lyrical and literary technique, content creation, branding, and hip-hop mental health. By nurturing creativity through lyricism, Pendulum Ink encourages students to break societal norms within hip-hop and academia alike. With a lexicon of over 50 rap techniques, legendary guest teachers, and a community of MCs sharpening their skills, Pendulum Ink supports artists in all stages of their career and their lives. For more information about Pendulum Ink or to register for the Academy, please visit the link in the show notes below. Peace.
Malik's First Job Podcast, here to answer any questions that y'all ask. Financial literacy and resources, parents and young people becoming bosses, CEOs, future leaders, entrepreneurs, conferences and boardrooms getting sponsors secured. If you want generational wealth, Brooklyn's own Kerwin Phillip with information to help. Malik's First Job Podcast, Malik's Podcast, Brooklyn's own Kerwin Phillip, Kerwin Phillip. Malik's First Job Podcast, Brooklyn's own Kerwin Phillip. Generational wealth.
Peace. What's going on? This is Kerwin Phillip here with another episode of the Malik's First Job Podcast, where we discuss leadership, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy for parents and teens. Today, we got a great guest, great MC, educator. Just there's so many titles this man has. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Mickey Factz. Right? Hey, Mickey, what's going on?
What's going on? It's Mickey. Hope everybody's good.
That's what's up. So for folks that aren't familiar with who Mickey Factz is, please tell them, who is Mickey Factz?
Hip hop artist out of the Bronx. Well established, well versed in lyricism. Worked with everybody in the industry, accolades out the wazoo. You can Google to find those out. And, also just kind of CEO, president, and dean of students at Pendulum Ink.
Okay, that's what's up. So let's kind of go back a little bit. So, you have so many different titles, but a lot of people know you from the music. So how did you actually get started in music?
I got started in music in 1998. It was my first time ever going into the studio. I was 16 years old. I recorded my very first song called Six Express. And this record, I was in a group called DEFCON 5 with another guy named Black Bushido. I was still in high school and I sold tapes in school. That was my first time ever kind of making money, putting music together and experiencing my first taste of the music business from that perspective. I was independent. That was my first entry into the music world.
Okay. So going like the independent route, I guess, how did you learn how to navigate, the industry, without, I'm not sure if you had any previous experience before that, but how did you learn how to go that route, being independent?
I think everybody starts out independent. You put your content together. Nobody just kind of, back in the days, probably before I came up, somebody would hear you rap and take a chance with you, not really a label per se, probably a manager and create something, and then somebody would invest in you from that point forward. So for me, I was independent for a while, learning the business, having, different situations happen, from Missy Elliott wanting to sign me to other label deals being presented to me, and then moving and creating my own media company, GFC New York, in 2006. And by doing that, I was able to kind of have the foresight to not only learn the business and read about it and question people who had been in it, but also live through it with experience. And that was able to kind of take me to where I am today.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, I was doing some background reading, and I understood that you was a student at NYU, but then you eventually left school to further pursue your music career,
Yes.
right? What was it about school that kind of turned you off and that made you want to just go straight into music?
So previously, I would say that I was bored, and I was bored.
Okay,
And now that I'm in the education space, I realize that different people learn different things different ways. And I realized that when I was in class, like I just couldn't sit still. Like I needed to kind of move to the beat of my own drum or be a little bit more engaged from the
right,
standpoint of how I want to learn. And I feel like for a very long time, and probably still to this day, there's this I don't want to say cookie cutter, but there's this white bread way of learning and teaching in schools. And for me, I just don't. I've never been that kind of guy, and I was
right,
bored. I was, drinking cappuccinos with a triple shot of espresso, desperately trying to stay awake in class, falling asleep.
right.
And that's when I knew that, it wasn't for me.
Right. We met at the Hip Hop Ed conference like a few weeks ago, and I know with Hip Hop Ed they use it's a platform that looks at not just incorporating hip hop into a curriculum, but also looking at alternative methods of reaching children, right? And as far as the educational method. Now, do you feel that today the educational system, the way it's formatted today, is it outdated? And how can we change it? Well, what's like some recommendations that you would think we can use to change educational system?
I mean, it goes back to what I said previously. I was my own case study.
Okay.
I couldn't sit still in class, and I was bored. It wasn't. Yes, the legal system. Yeah, this is it's a professional standpoint, and it's a space where you have to have a level of attention and a level of professionalism and things of that nature. And I respect that from that standpoint. But being a child of hip hop, it just wasn't sitting right with my personal spirit. On top of
Okay.
that, the educational system in terms of finances just wasn't making sense to me. It wasn't making sense. Like,
Okay.
so I have to spend this much amount of money here at school to make a quarter of that back when I get a job, but I'll probably be an intern and have to work my way. It wasn't making sense to me.
Right.
So when I look at that and I look at the kids now, it's a reason why the kids are impressed by flashy things. It's a reason why they want it fast, and nothing in life comes fast. And I would have to agree with that.
Right.
When I think about, I went to the Hip Hop Olympics in Philadelphia. It was a school that had like a Hip Hop Olympics. I went on stage and I was talking to the kids. They completely ignored me
Okay.
until I started naming the people that I worked with. Then I got their attention, and then they were like, "Oh, okay." But if I'd have
Okay.
walked in there with 2 security guards, an entourage, people taking pictures, and jewelry on, they would have
Right.
listened to every single. And let me tell you something: these could have all just been people that I hired. I could have had on fake
Right.
jewelry, and the kids would have listened to every single word I said,
Right.
because it's not about for children. Children, this way of placing kids in a system, line by line, with one person talking to them. You speak when you're spoken to. You have to obey and all this. It sounds like either the military or prison.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's what it sounds like. And these constructs need to be changed. Like I have a 3-year-old, and me and my wife were getting ready to look into placing him in a school where they learn outside, where they sit in
Mm-hmm.
circles, where they learn basic foundational trades, cooking, baking,
Right.
sewing, fishing, hunting, right? And then as they get older, you implement what's necessary from the education space into their daily curriculum and daily learning. So
Right.
now it's not just this mundane way to live life.
Right.
And for whatever reason, people don't see that this is, at least for our kids, we don't operate like black and brown kids. I'm not gonna say all of us, all the black and brown kids. There's some kids that are
Right.
intellectually developed at this level where they can excel like their counterparts in different races. But a lot of our children can't read or write. A lot of our children can recite every song on the radio, can't read or write. They
Yeah.
can scroll on the iPad and on Instagram, but they don't know what STEM is. And I think a
Right.
lot of that is due to from where we are from a cultural standpoint. We need to implement both and cross-pollinate what we have to give us and our children a little bit of an edge in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. I was speaking to Bobito not too long ago, and I know like his son. He says he's going through a what they call unschooling, right? Where it's not a traditional school. He pretty much does it just how you described, where he takes his son out, they learn, from the natural environment, right? He has a book
Mhm.
out that he put out a few like a year or so ago, where like it's on a basketball court, and on the basketball court he's teaching his son geometry, like with the circles and the angles and stuff like that. It's just he's taking natural environments and teaching traditional, scholastic lessons.
Mhm.
And I find it kind of interesting the way that he approaches it. So, so with the educational system as you described, and I find it kind of ironic that you attended school, you felt it wasn't for you, but then ended up opening up a school, right? And being the founder of Pendulum Ink, right? So, what was like the motivation to bring about that course of education?
Um, DMX and Black Rob passing away,
Okay.
along with Shock G. They were the real catalyst for me starting the school. Seeing their lives and their affairs in the public eye and seeing that they all left with nothing,
Mm,
or people were fighting over things. I said to myself, I don't have a hit record. All three of these guys have been a part of hit records. Shock G, Humpty Dance, he was on I Get Around. Black Rob, Whoa, all of this stuff with Diddy and Bad Boy. And then, DMX is a legend. Platinum albums, platinum singles, it's the
yeah.
list goes on. Movie star.
Right.
And there was people fighting. His affairs weren't in order. Black Rob basically passed away with no money to his name. Same thing with Shock G. And I said to myself, I don't want to be like this. I'm going to use these great forefathers as an example and give back.
Right.
So I want to be able to teach at a university level or at a college or collegiate level or at a high school level. And when I kept receiving the word no from multiple
Okay.
spaces, I said, well, I'm gonna create my own and I'm gonna teach my own way. And I
Okay.
hired and put together a team of people to facilitate this dream that I had. And once we kind of launched and people saw that it wasn't a scam,
Mm,
now we're like kind of at the forefront of this space of hip hop education in terms of actual classes running daily. Like we have a class running every single night. We have a professor teaching a class every single night. We have lexicon curriculum, syllabi, we have homework, midterms, finals, debate teams, everything that you can think of, we have at my school. And we purposely did it this way because we felt that it was necessary for hip hop to have structure attached to what it is that we do. And I think it was important for me to launch it, for me to have the experience of going to college and not enjoying it. Me trying to figure out what happens when you retire from music. Me wanting to give back to my community and leave a legacy for hip hop in this field that nobody wanted to touch. And because it came from me, I am receiving a lot of yeses from people, whether it's artists or it's universities, and I think it's imperative that, I continue to move in this space.
Okay. So now I know, like putting a whole school together, that probably takes a lot of work. Like, how did you get the Well, how can I say it? Like, how did you know how to put the structure together? Did you have some consultations? Like, who did you seek out to kind of help you put the whole thing into a formal plan?
Um, there was a guy, his name was Comic Book Cam. He was running a masterclass once a week,
Okay.
and he hired me to do it. And when he hired me after the class, I picked up the phone and was like, yo, we can scale this and turn it into something that's big. And I said, but I can't do this without Chilla Jones, who's a battle rapper, and also someone who I trust lyrically. So I reached out to him, and he said he's down. So he became my co-founder. Comic Book Cam became my co-owner. I reached out to Jeff Walker, who is a mental health specialist. So we added mental health to our curriculum and component.
Okay.
Then from there, Jeff reached out to Rob Nice, Roberto Santos, who's a tenured professor at the University of El Paso. He has his master's in fine arts, bilingual master's in fine arts. So he was our curriculum editor, and he teaches creative writing. So between these 5 people, me from a creative and marketing standpoint, Chilla from a technique standpoint, Cam from the jazz musician and musicianship standpoint for flow, delivery, and cadence and things of that nature,
Right.
to Jeff with the mental health standpoint, and then an actual professor who was on the board at the University of El Paso, making sure curriculum and syllabi is all intact. This was the perfect synergy of Voltron to form. And we wanted to make sure that it would stand next to other courses and classes in different schools across the country.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I think, from the example you just spoke of, it shows the importance of building a team, right? Where everyone specializes in their own particular lane, but y'all come together to build the project, right?
Right.
Each one of you all had your own expertise, but when y'all came together, you was able to put those pieces of the puzzle together to make the whole thing work. So,
Yes.
So team is very important, because oftentimes entrepreneurs feel they have to go out there by themselves, right? They have to be that one-man army to do everything, and they don't work efficiently, right? Do you think you would have been able to pull this off if you did it by yourself?
I think that I would have had a version of this that I could have pulled off by myself, but it would have not have been this robust.
Okay.
So teamwork definitely played a huge part. If it was just me doing it, I would have just taught writing. That's all I would have taught. I wouldn't have been able to teach mental health. I wouldn't have been able to teach creative writing. I wouldn't have been able to teach like battle rap to the level that Chilla can, or rap theory to the level that Professor Cam can. I did my very best. I knew what I could do at my level, and I knew that I had a fan base that wanted it anyway. So I knew that I could do it, but it would not have been what it is now without my team.
Exactly. So, what areas or what topics do you cover within your school?
So we have Rap Theory 101, Rap Theory 102, which is teaching foundational basics of how to be an MC. We have Advanced Techniques, which is a higher level of writing rhymes. We have Advanced Rap Theory, which is a higher level of teaching different styles in rap and different ways to rhyme on beats. We have Rhymecology, which is our mental health portion of the school, where MCs express and discover themselves through rhyme. We then have a songwriting class that happens once a month. where we teach MCs how to write songs properly from the standpoint of actual songwriters in the business. We actually then have criminology in hip hop, where we teach MCs the legal system through the lens of hip hop artists and how, it's affecting, MCs in the judicial system, visual aesthetics in hip hop, telling you what hip hop looks like, hairstyles, jewelry, tattoos, graphic art, graffiti, cover art, everything you can think of from that perspective. Evolution of rhyme, which is teaching the history of lyricism from 1974 all the way up to the year 2000. And we bring in special guests to help with that. Hip hop according to finance. We teach you about finance through MetLife insurance workers. They teach you what to do with your money after you receive your money. The Mickey Money class, which is a business class that I teach. I teach this class and we go through the business of music. This month we're actually teaching copyrights and trademarks. And how to actually do that and get that out there. We have a battle rap 101 class. If you wanted to be a battle rapper, teach you how to become a battle rapper. We have a creative writing class that's taught by Professor Rob, who is a creative writing specialist. This is what he does. He's the best in the business to me when it comes to that. We have a content creation class teaching you how to create content in this space. We have a performance workshop class where I bring in different people from the music industry to come in and listen to MC's music. Last night, we had the vice president of music at Disney come in and talk to us last night. We also have debate teams. So we debate about, different topics in hip hop, and the winners get prizes. I think that's pretty much everything that we have at Pendulum when it comes to what it is that we offer here. I mean, it's a huge offering that a lot of other schools, no other school basically has that from an offering standpoint. And, we're proud of that, right? We're proud to say that we have something that you can't find anywhere else. And, 15 courses that anybody could take. And I think that's pretty robust.
Malik's First Job, Financial Principles for Teens, is an excellent resource to get your children started on understanding the basics of financial literacy. This book, which is set in Brownsville, Brooklyn, about a young man who gets his first job and then shortly thereafter sits down with his dad to learn how to manage his money. There are several topics that are covered within this work, such as paying yourself first, disciplining your spending, knowing the difference between an asset and a liability, creating multiple sources of income, as well as the importance of being charitable. So again, if you want to get your children started on understanding finance and becoming responsible adults, we highly recommend that you purchase the book, Malik's First Job, Financial Principles for Teens. So please visit maliksfirstjob.com to get more information. Peace. Peace. Are you looking for a way to teach your kids about money management and responsibility? Look no further than the GreenLight card. The GreenLight card is a debit card for kids that parents can manage through an app, giving you complete control over where and how much your child spends. With the GreenLight card, you can start teaching your kids valuable financial lessons while earning rewards at the same time. For more information about GreenLight and to get started, please click the link in the show notes below. Thank you.
Okay. Now, how long does it normally take someone to go through all 15 of those courses?
Well, you have a core class, right? So the core class would be Rap Theory 101, which is freshman, Rap Theory 102, which is sophomore, Advanced Technique, which is senior, and Advanced Rap Theory, which is junior, right? Okay. So it depends on the skill level of an MC. So if someone never started rapping before, they would start at Rap Theory 101. Okay. And then if somebody is really, really good, they could come in at Advanced Rap Theory, and it would take them about 2 years to get through the whole program. It's a 2-year commitment for those who come in at the high level and a 4-year commitment for those who come in at the lower level.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty much like college.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much like college. Wow. So what can a person hope to gain at the end? Like once they finish, at Pendulum, what's next for them?
Well, currently, right now, we're creating student teacher jobs here at Pendulum Ink. So we teach our students how to be teachers and teach here at Pendulum to teach the newer MCs that come in as we continue to expand and grow our student fan base. Not student fan base, but our student cohort. I'm still talking from the perspective of an MC.
Right.
We're also, teaching them to teach children. So we're starting up our nonprofit organization called Pen Pals.
Okay.
We'll be able to teach children through Zoom or have one of our student teachers go to different schools and create workshops after school. And
Okay.
when this happens, we do a background check and we make sure that these are competent teachers and professors that can come in once a week and teach. So we provide that opportunity in that space. And as we continue to grow, we've been getting contacted by different universities across the country, the same ones who were saying no to me. They're now reaching out to me to have our curriculum there. And now,
Right.
a student would have to graduate either magna summa cum laude in order to teach at a university or high school on a full-time level. So that is the goal. The goal is to create this temp agency kind of thing on top of, teaching here at Pendulum, you know what I'm saying? And we're launching Pendulum Sounds, which is the production arm, and Pendulum Sync, which is the sync licensing arm to then, have a music library for artists to get placements in the industry and to make money and revenue to take care of their families.
Wow. Now, now I got a question. Have you been approached by any labels to try
No labels have actually, only independent labels have reached out to me. But we don't, in my opinion, like a record label, like obviously I would love to have a student signed to a record label and come out of the Pendulum Ink system. But we're in the era now where, a label can only do but so much. And, it all depends on your buzz and what you can generate from what you've created and established as an independent artist before going to a label. So once you start making the money as an independent artist, does it really make sense to go to a label and take a big upfront check when you can kind of just run through Pendulum with the contacts and things that we have to get you solidified in the game from an independent standpoint would probably make more sense.
Right. Now, another question would be, would a label want an educated artist, or would they want to, I guess, do a partnership with someone that's already educated? Because oftentimes when we look at music or the music industry, labels often try to take advantage of a person's ignorance, right? So would it be advantageous for them to actually approach someone that's been through your program?
Yeah, I mean, they signed me.
Okay.
A label is in the business to make money. So it doesn't matter how smart an artist is. If that artist is who the people want, the label is going to give you the money.
Okay.
A label is like a bank with just shitty interest loans. That's just basically what it is. I don't know if I could curse here, but it's really, really bad interest loans. And they don't care if you know about the business or not. It's all about leverage. If you have the leverage, they just want to be able to have you to get more artists to come and sign. It's a basic sales premise. So, we just want people to walk into situations and make sound decisions based on the knowledge of what it is that we provide to them that will help them be successful from the standpoint of an artist.
Right. You think back to like the history, right now we're celebrating, 50 years of hip hop culture. And you think about, the artists like early on didn't know the business of it, right? They knew the art of hip hop, but not the business side of the music industry. And I guess, throughout the years, some artists have become more knowledgeable about the business side through the mistakes those made in the past, right? But yet, you still have some folks today that still get caught up in crappy deals and stuff like that. And I think what you're doing now is kind of setting a foundation for something to kind of go on into the future, right? As we speak about being in the information age, right? And it's all about being able to access information. Oftentimes, me and Wordsworth, the guy who he did my intro. We have conversations all the time about certain communities not having access to information, and that's what's really holding them back.
Right.
And I think the platform that you have, with Pendulum Ink is really, as I said, setting the foundation for something that's very, very revolutionary. As we look into the art of music, I don't even think no other. I guess in terms of hip hop, as you said, there's no one else doing what you're doing, and I think you definitely should be, celebrated for doing so, for bringing this initiative into fruition.
Thank
Right.
you.
So,
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts on the industry today? Like a lot of like what you focus on is like lyricism in the business, but you find what's popular on the music is not really too much lyricism that's out there. So how does that interact with what you're doing?
Well, hip hop has always been a younger generational space. And I think that, if it's going to be younger, a lot of the OGs were supposed to put their arms around the younger artists. Could you imagine if Jay would have pulled up on Wayne earlier in 1998 and was like, yo, this is how you do it? Or if,
Right.
50 Cent pulled up on 21 Savage earlier and was like, this is how you do it? Or any of the people that people feel like aren't lyrically apt to be representing hip hop. The OGs were supposed to step in and guide them in the proper ways. And that's what Pendulum Ink plans to do with Pen Pals. So right now, what the industry is the byproduct of a lot of, watering down, diluting of what hip hop started as.
Right.
And, when you implement different regions and different accents and different ways of lives into the space, you get that product of it, as opposed to having OGs who understand the culture of hip hop establishing, waypoints within each city with OGs there to guide people to the proper way to do it.
Right.
So to answer your question, the culture is what it is. It is a ever evolving culture and space, and it is a byproduct of the things that came previously. In order to kind of steer it back into the right direction, you have to start young. And you have to show them the foundational things of what hip hop is from a technique standpoint, from a flow and delivery standpoint, and to be able to know the history of what it is that they're, engaging in. It is a privilege to be a part of this culture. And I think it's necessary that people come in and guide them in the way that they should be guided.
No doubt. No doubt. Now, you came up on people's radar several years ago from that Funkmaster Flex freestyle on Credit. Like I seen, you went viral off of that freestyle.
Yeah.
Now, how important is financial literacy, in this era?
Oh, financial literacy, not just for artists, but just for people in general, is very important. Especially now with different ways to make income. It's very important to know exactly how to sustain a living and to know what to do with your money and your credit, as you get older. A lot of times kids think if you have $2 million that you can just do whatever you want. That's not the case. There's certain people that want you to have good credit over cash. Even though they say cash is king, people want to see that you are responsible.
Right.
Having good credit shows that you are a responsible person. And I think that a lot of times, people look at credit as money, but it's really just a loan. And you got to pay that back with interest. It's almost like the mob. But if you understand it, you can use it to your best interest. But a lot of these things aren't taught to us. What's taught to us is to survive for the day, and live for the next day, and then spend that money to impress other people who don't have money. And that's not the
Exactly.
way to live. The purpose is to live comfortably later on, so you're not working and racking your brain at 60, 65 years old.
Exactly. So did you have like, a personal experience that say, you know what, I need to kind of focus more so onto this financial piece?
I was when I was working at a job, I had great credit. My credit was always good. People always loaned me money to do different things, whether it was a credit card company or back then, banks would loan money. I don't know if banks loan money out anymore, but I remember HSBC allowing me to borrow money, and I would pay that money back every time. I had all kind of credit cards, and then when I left my job, I didn't pay off everything. So like
Yeah.
a lot of things went into default, and I didn't claim bankruptcy. I just got a lot of stuff removed. After a while, they just got to cut it as a loss. Then when I got married, I realized that I had to fix up my credit and I had to get things removed from my reports. And as I was getting things removed and trying to establish myself and take care of my wife, I realized I was like, okay, if I didn't know about a lot of this stuff,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are less fortunate than I am that don't know about this. And that's when I started to compile this rhyme together to rap about credit.
Wow. Yeah. Because you really touched on a lot of things, and I think within the lyrics itself, it highlighted a lot of important aspects of credit, and then some people won't get the message unless they hear it in a rhyme. So I think like a lot of young people kind of caught that lesson, from that verse, and it was almost, I think the whole verse, it reminded me of, because you almost went for like 10 minutes straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, this is like on the level of Black Thought, because you was going nonstop, for that almost that 10-minute mark. So that was phenomenal.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So so before we wrap up, I mean, like I said, I know you're kind of busy. So what, I guess, with Pendulum, where do you want to see it go in the future?
I want to have a school. Whenever I go to a school, not really a university, like a school. So even when he's at hip hop ed, I'm looking around and I'm just like, man, this could be Pendulum Ink. Why can't this be Pendulum Ink? Who
Right.
runs this school? How were they able to obtain this school? How are they able to keep this up and running? Who paying for the lights? What's up with these walls, the banisters? Like I'm looking at everything,
Right.
and I think that for me, I would like to have, a school. It would be fantastic to have a school, a physical school for people to come to. It creates more jobs. It creates more opportunities. It brings a sense of pride to people who love the culture of hip hop.
Yeah.
It establishes an industry within an industry. I think that's what I see for the future. I don't really see anything else, in my immediate future for this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. No doubt. So for those people that I guess they want to learn more about what you do in Folly, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at on Instagram at mickey.factz. Follow me there. Send me a DM. I respond to everybody. I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/Mickey Factz. And I'm also on Mickey Factz, official Mickey Factz on Facebook.
Right, no doubt. And for those that want to get more information about the school itself and getting registered, where can they find that?
Yeah. Definitely pull up pendulumink.com. You can learn about everything that we have coming up, and I'm telling you, it's going to be massive. So stay tuned.
No doubt. All right. So before you wrap up, any closing thoughts you want to share before we close out?
Not really, man. Long live lyricism. Sign up today at pendulumink.com. We got an app coming out. We got our textbook out right now. It's very important that, we keep this thought process of lyricism alive through education. And the best way to get that is Pendulum Ink. We're the only ones teaching you how to actually rap at a high level. There might be some hip hop courses in other spaces and other schools, but there's nothing like Pendulum Ink.
No doubt, no doubt. All right. So again, thank you for coming on and sharing your story, and thank you all for watching and tuning in. Another great week with Malik's first job. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Generational wealth.